Load distribution.
As you know, rigging refers to the lifting and moving of loads. While lifting a load, it is very important to understand the distribution of weight that two pick points, lifting points, lugs, or two cranes experience. The center of gravity will either be physically centered at equal distances between the two lifting points, or it will be offset, meaning closer to one pick point than the other. Our goal is to understand the weight assigned to each lifting point. This is required to avoid overload and to select the correct crane and rigging gear required for the lift. This module outlines the process of load distribution while rigging. After completing this module, you will be able to identify the correct distribution of load weight between two lifting points or cranes. This will help you to choose the correct slings and shackles for the load on each of the cranes or lift points. Additionally, you will be able to select the correct rigging gear based on tension. When the load distribution is determined between two lifting points or cranes, it is important to know where the center of gravity is for that load. Let's say a particular load has an offset center of gravity. The load is high on one end and low on the other end. In this scenario, the load's weight may be 60% at one end and 40% at the other end. When such a load is rotated 90 degrees, the distribution of weight may change from 60-40% to something else. Take, for example, 50-50% in this scenario. Therefore, a rigger must understand the possible change in distribution of weight as the load is rotated and the effect of the loading on the two cranes. The focus of our activity is to prepare the rigger to determine the weight to two different machines as the load is lifted vertically. We will talk about how a load may be lifted simultaneously by multiple cranes. Industries like construction, electric, nuclear, oil refineries, aerospace, utilities, maritime, and others often require the use of multiple cranes while handling loads. There are also many circumstances that require a load to be lifted simultaneously by two overhead cranes. If one of the two cranes has more lifting capacity, the load's pick points that are closer to the center of gravity are typically connected to the higher capacity crane. The same thing can be said of mobile cranes. A job site may have two mobile cranes with a lift capacity of 300 tons and 100 tons respectively. In this case, the large crane will generally handle the heavy end of the load, and the light crane will generally handle the light end of the load.